Welcome to what is now week 4 of Upon Further Review, our weekly Butler County area high school football show. My name is John Enrietto. I'm the sports editor of the Butler Eagle. I'll be the host for this week's show, which is sponsored as always every week by the Butler Health System, Conlon Torker, and Troy Allen Chevrolet Buick GMC. And I'm joined as always by our sports writer at the Butler Eagle, Mike Kilroy. Wave to the nice people, Mike. And Derek Pida, our other fine sports writer. Derek and I both saw a couple games this past weekend. Mike saw the Plum Moors game. So let's kick right into this past weekend, gentlemen. There's no two ways about it. This was a rough weekend for Butler County high school football. Mike, we'll start with you. What's your biggest takeaway from Friday and Saturday night's action?
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for some of our teams, but I want to talk about some of the teams that did well, like Union AC Valley. We've been kind of talking about them here over the past few weeks about how dominant their defense is. They got their offense going this week. 398 yards rushing for Union AC Valley. Tanny Merwin's starting to get comfortable in the quarterback role. He can run, he can throw. Of course, we know how good he is on defense as a defensive back. They got a linebacker who's averaging double digits in tackles. They got ball hawking secondary. You can't throw against Union AC Valley right now. So I'd rather talk about them, talk about the success they're having. They're 3-0. They play a Thursday night special this week. I know, Derek, you got that game. You're probably pretty excited to see Union AC Valley play.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to go 4-0. So I want to talk about them. The Falcon Knights are rolling along right now, and it's great to see because that's a program that has had some down years in the past. Both of them, really, Union and AC Valley. Now they're together. They're playing well.
Eric, what's your biggest take from the now completed third week of the season?
Well, it's kind of hard for me not to focus on the two games I covered. Saturday night, I covered Slippery Rock in a home game against Hickory, and they went up against an elite quarterback, Michael Henwood, and that game was 17-0 in the first quarter. Ended up 45-0 Hickory. And Friday night, Carson City went up to Brookville, and it took Brookville a little while longer to get going. It was only 7-0, actually 6-0 after one quarter. Final score 44-0. So Slippery Rock and Carson City both kind of had measuring sticks this past week. They both went up against really good teams. I was looking for, even if they would have lost, I was looking for a good game, a competitive game, and they got blown out. Both teams got completely blown out by a combined score of 89-0. So, in a normal season where you got 10 games, you could say, well, back to the drawing board. We're basically halfway through the season now for our teams.
Yeah.
So to go back to the drawing board now, I mean, obviously things can turn around for both Carson City and Slippery Rock, but man, I was surprised, not necessarily by the fact that the other teams won the game, the opposing teams, but the fact that they had such an easy time doing it. Brookville against Carson City and Hickory against Slippery Rock.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about another positive. Mike, you certainly focused on the Falcon Knights and their success. How about the Freeport Yellow Jackets last week, going up to Derry, coming away with a 34-14 win, and in particular the performance of Ben Lane. Steps in at quarterback, rushes for 116 yards, scores 3 touchdowns, had a 95-yard kick return, passed the ball for 239 yards. If my math is correct, and like I said, I'm far from a math major, but that's 450 all-purpose yards, and he probably had some other kick returns in there that we don't know about. So he might have approached 500 yards total for that game. In my mind, that's a huge win for Freeport this early. Puts them at 2-1 after losing an overwhelming loss really to Apollo Ridge the week before. So kudos to Ben Lane and Freeport for a big road win last week.
Yeah, Ben Lane, you can tell that he's one of those guys who's just kind of coming to the fore, kind of jumping onto the scene. He really did that big time last week.
No doubt.
I covered Freeport in week 1, and he was a running back, and he had a good game from scrimmage. He had, I think, 2 touchdowns and about 120, 130 yards from scrimmage. But to see him play quarterback the way he has, obviously, I mean, the kid's obviously talented. And as a running back, as a true running back, he moves into the quarterback position. He obviously brings the ability to run there. So I'm sure he's going to give opposing defenses a lot of headaches as he did last week against Bears.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him this week. I got the
Yeah,
Freeport Valley game.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll be talking to Freeport coach John Galen as part of a preview this week in this week's Butler Eagle and get the lowdown on their situation at quarterback. They've used a couple of kids now, and so we'll see how that goes. But kind of a nice segue into our topic for the week, and that's going to be the quarterback position. We haven't had a lot of outstanding play at that position by our county schools, but we've had some. But some of I don't know about you guys, but some of the quarterbacks that I've seen so far this year, Chandler Timmons at Deer Lake, Caden Olson, just an incredible performance for Armstrong last week. I know, Derek, you've seen a couple hot quarterbacks. Mike, you've seen a couple. Derek, we'll start with you on this one. How critical has the quarterback position become in high school football?
I think it's more critical now than it used to be, because I think the passing game has become more prominent with a lot of teams, especially, a lot of teams run that spread attack. A lot more responsibility is on a quarterback these days. But as far as, does a team need an elite quarterback? I mean, no team's going to turn down a Jack Krug, a Michael Henwood. Those are the two quarterbacks I just covered who had great games for Brookville and Hickory respectively. But I think the key is you don't have to have an elite quarterback, but as you go further in the season, as you get into the district playoffs, go deep in districts, if you're good enough, you get to state, you need to have a quarterback, even if he's only attempting, say, 10 passes a game, he has to find a way to make that big play when you need it. If it's a 30-yard touchdown pass, it's a 30-yard touchdown pass. Sometimes it's a 10-yard completion on a 3rd and 8 late in the game to run out the clock. As you go further, you don't have to be elite, but you have to make the plays when your team needs it.
Mike, Derek raises a good point here. There's a lot of ways you can win football games. A great defense, solid running game, as well as outstanding quarterback play. Do you think a solid quarterback is needed to advance in postseason once you get there?
I think it is now. Maybe 5-10 years ago it wasn't. Well, maybe more like 10 years ago. I think even 5 years ago it was. But it's every year we go forward, the quarterback position becomes more and more crucial. I think it's just a natural evolution of the game. You see it at the college level, at the pro level, more and more passing, more and more emphasis on the quarterback making plays. And we're seeing it now in high school. You almost have to have a quarterback who can be a dual threat, who can run, who can throw, who can run that fast offense that teams are running. With the no huddle and the spread and making quick decisions, being able to read the whole field, not just focusing on one read. I think we're seeing that now at the high school level. The teams that are successful that have come in and kind of taken our teams out behind the woodshed have had those kind of quarterbacks. I think of the Plum quarterback this Friday against Mars, Hubner. Ryan Hubner, he had 4 touchdown passes, ran for 1. Those guys are hard to stop. There's a hard to game plan against. High school defenses aren't sophisticated enough at some level to be able to cover these multiple routes, these route combinations that these teams are running out of the spread. So I think eventually they'll catch up. But I think quarterback position now is the most important position on the football field now in high school. I really believe that. Yeah,
you see. I'm really torn on the quarterback thing, especially in postseason play. You see Central Clarence, another guy, Calvin German, against Montauk last week, 425 yards and 6 touchdowns. And Jack Krug's putting up these high numbers pretty much every week up at Brookville. Derek mentioned that. But I'm kind of wondering, if you get into the playoffs, you're talking late October, early November football, the weather changes a little bit. It gets colder at night. You might have some cold rain falling. It might be windy. I'm wondering, all these spread offenses that you see these high school teams running now, I can't help but wonder, do those stay effective when the weather turns a little bit?
They do, because they're basically long handoffs. Some of these pass plays are long handoffs, little bubble screens, quick slants, screen passes. They're basically long handoffs. So I think in a way that this spread passing offense is kind of built for the playoffs in that respect, because it's not like they're throwing 20 yards down the field. It's not like they're throwing 20-yard in routes. They're throwing these quick bubble screens, these quick slants, these screen passes. They're basically an extension of the running game. Now, do these quarterbacks throw deep? Yeah, they do that to stretch the defense, especially in the seams to like big tight ends or to a bit fast receiver down the sideline. But most of these passes are 5 yards down the field or even behind the line of scrimmage. So I don't think the weather really impacts those guys that much.
Yeah, there is a lot of ways to win in football. Like I said, you can win with a running game. You can win with great defense, but it certainly doesn't hurt to have a quarterback who can wing the ball, because it opens up anybody's running game naturally. If you got a guard against the pass, draw plays and counters just kill a high school defense. Well, let's move on to the over/under, and I've got I think an intriguing one for you guys this week. It focuses on Seneca Valley and the Raiders' fine start this year. Two very impressive wins over Hempfield and Norman to start the season. And Derek, you cover Seneca, so I'm gonna start you off on this one. Over/under for Seneca Valley. They're going to be challenged this week. Central Catholic. Everyone knows about their tradition of outstanding defense at Central. Seneca's rolled up on their first two opponents. Over/under for points this week against Central Catholic, 21.5 for Seneca Valley. Over or under?
I'm going over here. I'll reserve my pick for later in the show, but I think Seneca Valley's I think their offense is for real. I mean, we knew Ethan West was for real coming in the season, and I know this will only be Dustin Horn's third career start. He's a senior, but he didn't become a starter till this year, and this will obviously be his biggest test. With all due respect to Hempfield and Norwin, they don't bring at you the defense that Central Catholic will, but that's the thing. I mean, we were talking about Dustin Horn, and he's a senior, but he's inexperienced. But he's got playmakers around him. He has a lot of experience right next to him at the skill positions, those wide receiver spots. James Sprents, Connor Lysick, Marciano McCowan. Of course, Ethan West can line up in the slot, but by trade, basically his main job is running back, but he can split out to the slot. He can catch passes out of the backfield. So I think it's not just Dustin Horn as his third career start going up against a really good Central Catholic defense. It's that whole Seneca Valley offense, and I love the way they're playing right now. This will be their biggest test, but I do like them to score more than I like them to score at least 22 points, so I'm going to go over it.
Like, here's what I like about the offense of Seneca Valley. The first week up at Hempfield, Dustin Horn just lights them up. Throws the ball all over the place, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards. And last week, they're home against Norwin, and Ethan West carries for 225 yards, scores 3 touchdowns. Nolan's work, has a 100-yard rushing game himself. So that's a versatile offense. Do you think this offense can score? But what amounts to, they have to score 4 times to beat the over/under. Pretty much, you have to score 4 times against Central's defense. What do you think?
I think they do. Yeah, I think they're going to go over. I think just because of what you said, they have the ability to pass. They have Ethan West ability to run. I think it's just going to be a shootout, though. I think they're going to have to score more than 21 and a half to have a chance to win this game. So yeah, I think I'm going to go over on this one too.
I take the different approach. I guess in a way, I'm going to contradict what I just said about Seneca's offense. More of a tribute to Central Catholic's defense. I know Central got lit up by 35 last week against North Allegheny, but I somehow see this being more of a defensive battle. I mean, I can see Seneca scoring 3 times. I don't see him scoring 4 times. So I'm going under on this one, but a pretty close game. Well, let's go to the pick segment now, and Mike, we'll start with you. We'll start with Butler. They lost a tough game Saturday night up in empty Erie Veterans Stadium, 35-25 to Erie High School. Now they have their first rematch of the year as Cathedral Prep comes to Butler. Your thoughts on Cathedral Prep Butler?
Well, I don't know if I should be making these picks, judging from how I did last week. I picked 3 teams to win. They lost by a combined 99 points. So I was supposed to have a partner here, but she's still sleeping. But I'm going to go with Cathedral Prep in this one. We thought Cathedral Prep was going to be the class of this District 10 region that Butler's in, but it might be McDowell. But I think Butler keeps it close, but I think for a little bit. But I think Cathedral Prep's going to win. I'm going to predict 38-24.
Eric, your thoughts? Butler played Prep pretty tough the last time. They were down 13, as I recall, in the third quarter before it got away from some special teams problems that night. The special team situation at Butler seems to have been straightened out since then. What are your thoughts on the rematch here?
This game the first game was very close. It was a 13-point game. Butler was within striking distance in that first meeting. I didn't cover that game, obviously, but I have a hunch that Cathedral Prep may have been caught off guard a little bit by Butler. I think Butler had a lot of, obviously motivation going into that game, first game in District 10. I don't think this game's going to be as close in the third quarter as that first game. I think Prep's going to win 39-13. I think by the third quarter, it's going to be pretty much in hand for Prep. I don't see this game being as close in the third quarter as the first game was. 39-13 Prep. Sorry.
Okay. I'm also going to make it a clean sweep. I'm going to go with Cathedral Prep. Butler's got some tapping issues on defense. The last 2 weeks of McDowell and area high school running backs have broken a lot of tackles against Butler. They need to shore that up. I think they will to some degree, but I think Prep's got too much. I'm going to go Cathedral Prep 35-21 over Butler. Derek, will swing this to you since, again, you do cover Seneca Valley of Central Catholic coming to next year's stadium to play the Raiders. First, I guess, true test for Seneca in this young season. How do you view this game?
I'll be there, too.
Yes, you will.
This will be my first home Seneca game. I just got done saying why I think Seneca's going to score at least 22 points. I actually think they're going to score 24. And I think it's going to be enough for them to beat in a huge game. I mean, this is a huge game for both teams. I think Seneca Valley beats Central Catholic 24-17, which would be a second straight loss for Central, and that's not often you can say 2 straight losses for Central.
And Mike, guest picker has just entered the screen here. Yep, just entered the screen. Mike, Central Catholic, Seneca Valley, what do we got here?
All right. You want to pick it? Want to pick it? Oh, she picked Central Catholic. You can't really see it. Central Catholic. Good pick. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be a shootout, like I said before. I think Central Catholic does a little bit too much. I see this one going 35-28 Central Catholic.
I have Seneca Valley winning this game, but as I said in the over-under segment, I think it'll be much lower scoring. I'm picking Seneca Valley 21-14 to beat Central. And then we have a Knock is our next game, Knock at Indiana, the battle of the triple option. Probably maybe the only 2 teams in the Whitfield that run this offense anymore. Knock is 0-3. They travel to Indiana, which is 1-2. Michael, swing it back over to you and fight of the triple options. Who comes out on top?
Emma, who comes out on top? She's just eating her Red Robin card. I'm gonna pick Indiana in this one. Like you said, battle of the triple option, but Knox struggling with it right now. So I think Indiana wins another low scoring game, 18-14.
Eric, Knock is they're off to an 0-3 start. I know I believe you picked them all 3 weeks. So they've been hurting you as far as these picks go.
I did,
but Knock's been hurting themselves. They've been making mistakes, turning the ball over. If they straighten things out, I think this game could be an intriguing matchup. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I know you can't base, what's going to happen every time on something like this, but 2 weeks ago, Knock lost a close game to Greensburg-Salem. And this past week, Indiana beat Greensburg-Salem 56-28. So this is probably a good thing for Knock, by the way. I'm picking against them because I picked them to win the first 3 weeks, and they're 0-3. So Brandon Mowry's probably glad I'm picking against them. I'm actually picking Indiana to win this game 33-21. But I hope the Knights get their first win. I just after 3 weeks, I have little confidence that they can go out there and get a win. But certainly good luck to them. I hope they do it.
I have a feeling, a strange feeling that this is really going to be a tight game. I think, like I said, Knock was moving the ball against Armstrong last week. It looks like they got blown out when you look at the score, 34-7. But they generated a lot of yards on offense. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They just hurt themselves, fumbling the ball, critical turnovers, penalties at the wrong time. I think they find a way to straighten that out, and I think they're going to battle Indiana, but I think they're going to come up short. I'm thinking Indiana 20-17 in what should be a really tight game. And to talk about it in intriguing matchups, how about this one, Mike? We'll go to you on this one first also. Mars at Armstrong. Both teams are 2-1. Mars coming off a tough loss to Plum. Armstrong, as I just mentioned, handled Knock pretty well last week. Excellent passing game by Armstrong. Mike, how do you see this one shaking out?
Yeah, it's not good for Mars. Emma picked Mars, but I'll go with it. I think they'll bounce back. I think they knew what went wrong last week against Plum. I think Scott Heinauer and his staff will correct it. So I think Mars will win 28-24.
I'll jump in with my pick here. I can see this as really being an offensive showcase. Armstrong's passing game against the Mars running game and Teddy Ruffner. I see Mars prevailing. I don't know if Armstrong can handle Ruffner, and I don't know if Mars can handle the Armstrong passing attack. So I see points on both sides, but I'm picking Mars 38-24 in a bit of a wild one. Derek, how do you see this matchup?
I'm sorry, you said 38-24?
38-24, yes.
Okay. Last year, and I'm not saying Armstrong is Fox Chapel from last year, but last year Mars went down to Fox Chapel in a game most people thought they would win, and they came away with a loss. Armstrong's got that passing attack, but I got to believe that most people think Mars is going to bounce back here. Obviously, there's a lot of players on this team that remember that Fox Chapel loss from last year, and I guarantee you Scott Heinauer remembers it. I don't think they lose 2 straight. I like Mars to win this game on the road at Armstrong, 27-23.
All right, then we go on to Valley. Valley is 1-2 on the year. Got the first victory last week. They traveled to Freeport, but I touched on them earlier. Fine win last week over their area. Derek, we'll go to you first on this game. Freeport 2-1, hosting Valley 1-2. How do you see it?
I like the life that Ben Lane has brought to that offense. Like I said, I saw him in week 1 when he was running the ball and catching the ball. Now he's throwing the ball too. He can do it all. I like the life he's breathed into that offense. I like the life he's breathed into that football team. And Valley, they are coming off their first win, but I think they're still a pretty weak team. The game's at Freeport. Who knows how many people will actually be there, but I like Freeport to win at home pretty easily, 28-7.
I'll jump in here with my pick. I think it's going to be a closer game. I mean, I think Valley gained some confidence last week. Freeport, I think they'll win. I don't think they'll pull away maybe till late. I'm picking Freeport 28-20 to beat Valley. Mike, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Ben Lane at quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Freeport here, so I'm gonna pick Freeport too. I think they're gonna score a lot of points this week. I think they're gonna run away with it 35-14.
All right. Game that would appear to be a mismatch on paper. Mike, will throw this right back at you. The Burell Bucks are 1-2. They're traveling to North Catholic 3-0, and North Catholic with a very impressive 3-touchdown victory at East Allegheny last week.
Oh.
How do you see Burell? Can Burell hang with the Trojans? Yes or no?
I'm using my veto power. Emma, just pick Burell. No way.
Here comes the
no
veto.
Way, Emma. You're wrong on that one. The veto. North Catholic's rolling right now. Joey Prentice at quarterback. He's got tons of weapons around him. The defense is doing the job. They scored 50 points back-to-back weeks. Last week they rolled again. They're going to roll again this week. I'm going to say they get another 50-7.
Wow.
North Catholic.
Derek, is this going to be a ball game? Everything points to it not being much of one. What do you think?
I think Burell, they're better than Deer Lakes. I think they're better than Valley. But to beat North Catholic, I mean, it was proven at East Allegheny last week. East Allegheny is a pretty good football team, and North Catholic won that game pretty easily. I think Burrell's going to be able to score a few points here, but I don't see them beating North Catholic. I like the Trojans to win 35-22.
Wow. Yeah, I saw Burell last week. Granted, a very good Apollo Ridge team, but they got obliterated by Apollo Ridge. 56-8 was the score of that game last week. I don't think Burell can hang with North Catholic. I just think this North Catholic team is very strong, and I'm going to pick them to win handily, 44-7. North Catholic to beat Burell. And Derek, we'll swing this one down to you. The Queen City Gremlins. You saw them Friday night. They got humbled, to put it bluntly, by Brookville. They're now 2-1. They're heading to winless Punxsutawney on Friday night. How do you see this one?
A quote that Brookville's head coach gave me last week after the game, Scott Park. He said that the Carson City team we saw on film and the one we face tonight, they're not the same team. I can't see Carson City losing 2 straight. I mean, they're playing a struggling Punxsutawney team. I know the game's out there, but I got to believe that Joe Sherwin and his coaches are going to have that team ready to go this week. They should have been ready to go last week. It was a battle of 2-0 teams. It's a big matchup, and they did not play up to their capabilities. I think they go out to Punxsutawney on Friday and lay it to the Chucks, 38-7. Gremlins win.
Mike, do you agree with Derek? I should say, Emma, do you agree with Derek that Carson City has a big bounce back week?
Yeah, she thinks Carson City is going to roll this week. So do I. Kern City's going to get that bad taste out of their mouth from last week. They're going to roll 44-0. They're not going to give up a point.
Hey, so they're going to win this week by the score they lost to last week.
Yes, they are. There's a method to my madness.
Yeah, make it a clean.
Emma's going to leave. Bye, Emma. Say bye, everybody.
I'll make it a clean sweep here. I mean, I can see. I would hate to be Punxsutawney this week because I think Corn City is going to take it out on them. I'm picking Corn City 42-6. I think Punxsutawney will score, but it'll be a late one, probably under mercy rule conditions. So I'm picking KC 42-6. Another game that we got to be honest, it's a potential mismatch, and Mike will throw this to you first on this one. Brookville 3-0. They've just been rolling people. They rolled Corn City last week. They handled Clarion by 19 the week before that. They're traveling down to face the Warriors of Montauk. Montauk's 1-2 on the year. How do you see this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't need Emma's help on this pick for Montauk. Obviously, pass defense has been an issue for Montauk this year and years past. It's not a good formula when you got a Brookville team coming in that can throw the ball over the yard. I do think Montauk is gonna at least stay in the game for a little bit, but Brookville's gonna win. I see this like 36-16.
Yeah, I'll jump in on it and make my pick here. I think Brookville's going to roll. I think it's going to be 45-13, and this is not a criticism of Montauk. This is more of a compliment toward Brookville's program right now. They're just flying, and I don't know who's going to beat them in the near future. Derek, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Montauk showed last week that they're having trouble defending the pass. And if you're having trouble defending the pass, you don't want to be facing Jack Krug with Brookville. I mean, the kid can air it out, and not just that, he has, a plethora of weapons. I mean, he hits guys out of the backfield. He hits guys downfield. He hits guys on slants, outs, everything. I mean, I was really impressed by his play. And I think he's going to – that air show for Brookville is going to continue. I see the Raiders winning this one 40-16.
A Thursday night special for Mr. Piter coming up. He's heading to Red Bank Valley to see a battle of unbeaten teams. Union and AC Valley, they are 3-0. Red Bank Valley is 2-0. They did not play their game against Sheffield as scheduled on Saturday. Sheffield has not played a game since they got waxed 86-0 in their first game. I'm not sure what's going on with Sheffield's football program right now. But
I can shed some light on that.
Oh, feel free. Shed some light on it.
They've canceled the rest of their season.
Wow.
Because they were down to like 16 or 17 healthy players, and they just completely scrapped the rest of the season. And I do know that Red Bank was trying to find another game, but into the season, it's really tough to find a team with an open date.
So let's make so we'll leave it with you. So Red Bank had a 2-week break to get ready for this game. What are your thoughts as they host the Red Hot Falcon Knights?
I just want to throw this. I am very excited about spending my Thursday night on the beautiful banks of Red Bank Creek.
There you
go. And
go.
I can't wait to be there 7 p.m. Thursday night. But for the host Bulldogs, it's going to be a disappointing night because I can't pick against the Falcon Knights right now. I'm riding high with them, 28-16. Brad Dittman's team comes back 4-0.
I have to agree. I'm picking Union AC Valley also. My pick is 27-14. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Union AC Valley, their defense is really what the difference is this year. I talked about it a little bit earlier, some of the standouts they have on that side of the ball. They're a swarming defense. They're an aggressive defense. You put the ball in the air against them, you're asking for trouble. With the defensive backs they have, they got a good pass rush. I think the defense has really been the key for them. It's going to be a key for them again Thursday night. And Thursday night special, it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go 16-6 Union AC Valley.
All right. Time's starting to run a little bit short here, so we will go to our last pick, Slip Rock at Sharon, rematch from a Week 1 Slip Rock win. Mike, I know you're close to the Slip Rock program. They travel to Sharon this week. What are your thoughts?
Well, they beat them 27-7 in Week 1. It was a nice feel-good win for Slippery Rock. Hasn't been a whole lot of feel-good moments since then for the Rockets. Will they get it back again this week? I think Coach Wenderus and his staff, they know what the problems have been. I think they're going to try to correct some of them. They're going to take a big step this week. I see them winning again. I see them getting the offense going a little bit more even. 35-14 Slippery Rock.
I echo those sentiments. I'm also picking Slip Rock to get a repeat win over Sharon, this time at Sharon. 28-13 is my score. Derek, what do you say about this one?
I know Slip Rock won the first game, but and obviously Sharon's not as good as Hickory. That's who Slip Rock lost to last week. They got beat 45-0. I have a feeling that loss is going to kind of stay with the Rockets. Sharon's defeated, so to speak. They haven't won yet. I actually think the home team in this case, Sharon, will win. I like the Tigers 24-14 this week.
Right. Real quick, I want to touch on our final subject and how about something else segment. Well, Laura Greb, the outstanding senior tennis player at Knox, just came off her incredibly fourth consecutive WPIAL singles tennis championship. Mike, we'll go to you first on this one. Where does Laura Greb's accomplishment here, where does that rank among Butler County high school athletic feats all time? It's got to be up there.
Pretty close. I would put it in the top tier of those accomplishments. Think about it, how hard it is just to get to 4 straight finals, let alone win them. I think I can't remember what the exact stat was, but it's been at least 10 years since someone even played in 4 straight WPIAL finals, let alone win them. She's the first one to win all 4. She didn't even drop a set in these 4 WPIAL championships. So I think it's a combination of the feat of getting to 4 straight, the feat of winning 4 straight, and the even bigger feat of winning 4 straight convincingly. Obviously, I think she's going to go down as arguably, I don't even know if you can argue this is the best female tennis player Butler County history. So I put her up there in the top 10 of Butler County accomplishments and high school accomplishments.
I'll tell you what, the only one I can think of in terms of just one person who could challenge her would be another knock person.
Jordan Geist.
Jordan Geist, yeah. I mean, Jordan Geist, his achievements in high school also off the charts. But to me, 4 straight WPIAL titles. Derek, where do you put this? I mean, 4 WPIAL titles is 4 WPIAL titles. This is a one-person thing. It's not even a team thing.
Right. You know, we know, not personally, obviously, but from talking to athletes and seeing what they are able to accomplish, we know how hard winning 4 straight swimming titles is individually. We know how hard it is to win 4 straight track and field titles. But in those sports, if you're not good in the breaststroke and swimming, you can try the freestyle. You can try the backstroke, you can breaststroke, whatever. In tennis, it's you're either good enough to even just get there or you're not. There's no other event for you in tennis. You're either good enough or you aren't. So I think it's incredibly impressive. And I do want to throw one other thing out here. Tennis is a sport where the individual champions in singles, or even if you want to go to the doubles side, the doubles champions, a lot of them come from private schools. You know, you look at the results, a lot of them come from private schools, and obviously Knox a public school. And I think that even adds to the accomplishment. But, you know, I know Greb is hoping to do some big things at the state level, and hopefully she does. But she's got 4 district titles in her back pocket. So that's incredibly impressive no matter what happens from here on out. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to Knox Tennis. It is an absolute incredible accomplishment for her in that program.
Absolutely. Well, that will conclude our week 4 edition of Upon Further Review. Be sure to check out the Butler Eagle during the week. We preview games pretty much on a daily basis. We have a big preview package complete with stats and standings each Thursday in the Butler Eagle, and of course we finish the week on Sundays with get in the game. Extensive high school football coverage where we have half a dozen games. So hopefully we'll catch you on our sports pages, and we'll definitely catch you with the show next week. Thanks very much.
I made the whole show this week, by the way.
Yep. Derek is back from cyberspace. Good to have him back.
No technical difficulties this week.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you all next week.